Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Resident Evil 0. In the last part we finished off pretty much every duty we have to do in the treatment facility and fought off the Queen Leech. So now let's get on this lift and get out of here. There's a lever to control the lift. You might be able to use it to escape. Activate the lift.
What?
It's the Queen!
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. Repeat.
Who activated the self-destruct system?
Come on, can't this thing move any faster?
Final boss phase 2 is go. The Queen Leech is now pissed off and much larger. Attack-wise, it can tackle you, it can hit you with its tails, it throws some poison at you, but I don't know if I can actually poison you outright. It can also just hit you with its main body, but the big thing is, it can try to crush you beneath it. That's instant kill, so don't let it do that. By and large, anything it can do against you also does more damage than it did in the last phase, so check your health more regularly. With that said, your best options are about the same as usual. Use your magnums, your shotguns, your napalm round grenade launchers. Molotovs are actually a lot better here than they were in the previous phase. They do like 3 or 4 times the damage they did against phase 1. So if you have any, and I'll probably put a text call in the previous part to state this, if you have any Molotovs, save them for this phase, of course. The timer is counting down, but honestly, I don't think I've ever gotten a game over from that timer, unless maybe I tried to intentionally just to see what happens. It's not really a big threat in this fight. The Queen Leech themselves is the much larger threat.
Billy, we can't handle sunlight. We need to open the windows.
Follow me! You work on the windows.
Got it.
I'll use my charm to distract Her Majesty.
I genuinely love that line. Welcome to the final phase. Gate Operation Manual. To open the heliport in case of emergency, follow the procedures below. Removing the lock. There are 4 locking mechanisms in the room which must be activated in this order. The southwest side, the northwest side, the southeast side, and the west side. Turn each of these mechanisms' handles to unlock the gate. So for this phase, we're automatically in control of Billy. Give Billy whatever ammo you have left, because his goal here is to distract. He's gonna be dodging around the Queen, doing damage to make sure that she's focused on him, while Rebecca's off and about doing all those valves in that order. Rebecca generally does move pretty quickly here on getting the valves and gets them open pretty quickly, and it's relatively easy to distract the Queen as well. Just make sure you have a lot of ammo. If there's anything I can say for this fight, it's the one time in the endgame that having a handgun can come in handy, because if you have a shitload of bullets saved up for that, you can just pummel into her no problem, and she'll probably just constantly keep her attention on Billy. If you have healing items left, give Rebecca at least one in the case the Queen gets any hits on her. Otherwise, though, it's pretty quick and easy. Also, and I forget the exact source for this, because it's not in the game itself to my memory. If I can find the exact source, I'll post it on the on-screen text that I like to do in my second passes. The Queen Leech took the form of a younger Marcus, as well as his memories, But it is not Marcus. Marcus did die. It's that whole teleporter problem thing where because it ate parts of Marcus's brain, it literally absorbed his memories and just assumed it was him. Which, I think that's an interesting idea, but it definitely doesn't make for the most engaging villain. In fact, if anything, I'd say the Queen Leech is one of the worst villains in the series. 2 down, 2 to go. Like, even with whatever their plan was, which was probably just making the training facility their territory and getting revenge on the people with Umbrella directly. Maybe if it wasn't even any kind of world domination. As this phase of the fight goes to show, the leeches are heavily weakened by sunlight. And as dumb as Umbrella is as a corporation, I feel like they would have figured that out relatively quickly if they got even a singular leech sample. So there wasn't much of a plan here at all, it feels like. Resident Evil Zero's story is very low in existence on the whole. But I guess that's kind of a problem in a lot of prequels where they'll introduce some cool ideas or something, but at the end of the day, the status quo probably has to get returned to normal in some form for the first thing to happen the way it did. And that's just an issue with storytelling in that regard, period. Some games and movies and all that jazz will do it right and actually have impacts be felt, or at least will then have impacts be felt after the first entry kind of deal where, okay, we are now after Resident Evil 1 and 2 and 3, so we can do stuff with stuff from 0 again, kind of deal. Which, oh well.
Hey, Queenie! Feast on this!
Now that's a magnum.
Rebecca, hurry!
Hey, that must be the old mansion that Enrico was talking about. I guess it's time to say goodbye. Officially, Lieutenant Billy Cohen is dead.
Yeah, I'm just a zombie now. Thank you, Rebecca.
Rebecca's adventures are technically not over, but that is the end of Resident Evil 0. This game frustrates me, honestly, in a lot of regards, because there's a lot to like about it. I like the soundtrack in general, it looks great, it feels good, and there's a lot of things I like about its level design. But the co-op characters, combined with the inventory system, just serve to frustrate the way I like to play these games, and thus it leads to me not exactly liking it. And genuinely, it is just the lack of item boxes. Because I can deal with the two playable characters thing. If anything, that would make for an interesting gimmick on its own. But the inventory thing being there, as much as I like it being a send up to the original Sweet Home, it just doesn't feel good to play. Especially if you're less experienced with the game. I'm sure if you're super good at it and you know exactly where to drop items so you can grab them on the way later, it's probably honestly really fun. But it doesn't feel good to me. It feels clunky. Like I said, if they maybe had a system where there was a unique item box mechanic for the game that was like separate wings had different colors of item boxes that could send between them, but not every wing had every item box color. Or even if this system was just a difficulty option, like hard mode played like this, whereas even just easy mode maybe had an item box, I would probably like this game a lot more. I find it, in some regards, easier to go back to than Code Veronica, because I think Code Veronica's level design is even more frustrating, even though it has the standard conventions of the other classic Resident Evils. But I would rather play that ultimately because, for one thing, I think the combat in general feels better in that game. But also, that game's story matters more in the series overall. Like, Rebecca, she eventually came back again in canon, because she's now in the movies and gets referenced in the games again. But after this, we didn't see her again, barring remake, until, I think, Resident Evil 5's expanded Mercenaries mode, and outside of that, basically nothing. We still haven't seen Billy again, by the way, outside of the portion of Umbrella Chronicles that adapts this game. And I think that's a shame because he has a lot of potential as a character. Theoretically, I guess they could just wave it off as saying, yeah, he died when Raccoon City got wiped off the earth, but I think there's something so much more interesting you could do with him, given his situation. Heck, an interesting thing they could do, if they ever for some reason bring back Jake from Resident Evil 6, and given how his story ends, have him and Jake be buddies, because I think there's enough common ground there in terms of the shit they've been through that, while Billy would probably reprimand Jake about a lot of stuff, they would work together well. Worth noting, as with the usual with the Resident Evil games, you get ranked at the end of the game, and what you get for post-game rewards depends on your ranking. The ranks are D through S, and they're entirely tied to your in-game time. D is finishing the game at all. C is finishing it within 9 hours, B is finishing within 7, A is finishing within 5, and S is finishing within 3 hours and 30 minutes. For beating the game at all, you get the Closet Key, which allows you to access some extra costumes, and the Leech Hunter minigame. You get those same things all the way until A rank, which A rank will give you a submachine gun item that I talked about briefly earlier in the LP. S rank gives you the infinite rocket launcher, so that's pretty good. The Leech Hunter minigame is interesting though. It's a little different than the standard battle minigames in the series. Effectively, Billy and Rebecca spawn in the training facility with their handguns, a lot of handgun ammo, and I think a first aid spray. Other things are also scattered across the map as well. But the blue and green leech charms from the laboratory, there are multiple of them scattered throughout a lot of the game's map, and you can store up to like, I think, 10 on a single block. Your goal is to find all 100. Depending on how many leeches you have when you turn in at the end of that minigame, you get different rewards. 0 to 29 gives you an E rank and will spawn more submachine gun ammo in the game. 30 to 59 will give you infinite handgun ammo. 60 to 89 is infinite hunting gun ammo. 90 to 99 will put a magnum revolver in the train, which is a stronger magnum. And getting all 100 will give you infinite ammo for everything, and even a specific infinite ammo Molotov somewhere in the train. We're almost there, though. One more Resident Evil game before I get to the big one, and that is Remake. Remake, I'm gonna effectively follow up on what I did for my original Resident Evil LP years ago at this point, where back when I did that, I played that as Jill, and I said I was gonna play the remake as Chris. That is still true, But at some point, I'm probably going to do a redo LP of Resident Evil 1 on the DS to show off Chris's run of that game. And then at some point down the line, after I do Remake, because I'm going to start Remake on the GameCube, I'll probably do the HD version as Jill, just so we have both routes of both games in some form. Yeah, though, that's Resi Zero. It frustrates me. It's my least favorite in the classic series. And what's painful about that is it's genuinely so close to being very enjoyable to me on so many metrics. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, have a great night, take care, and I'll see you guys next Let's Play, whatever that may be. See you guys then.